everyone, and today we are looking at a Gameboy Color Hidden Gems video that I've been putting together for quite a while. I've already taken the games out of the slot, so these are just what's left over. But I think you guys will really enjoy this video, so let's take a look. Alright, so the first game we have is Project S11. This game is a shoot 'em up, and it's a story-based shoot 'em up, which is really nice. You know, on the Game Boy Color of all systems. I skipped through the story. I just wanted to play the game at the time. But first thing you want to do, of course, like in any shoot 'em up game, is get your upgrades as soon as possible. Shooting one laser is pretty horrible. So your second upgrade will be 2 double laser, and then after that you get a choice of different weapons like a spread shot, scattered missiles, a flamethrower. I mean, they're all pretty good actually. The flamethrower is actually one of my favorites, as you'll see in a second here. The missiles are okay, but they just, I don't know, they just leave an open area for me, so I didn't really like them too much. The game scrolls at a steady pace, and there's no like flickering going on. You know, it just seems everything, you can see everything on screen, and it's not, you don't feel too rushed. Another thing I like about this game is that it's not one of the shoot 'em up games that like you get hit once and you die at the start of the checkpoint. No, you have a life bar, and then when that life bar runs out, I believe you could continue at the same spot. I totally forgot right now, but either way, this is a steady pace shoot 'em up game that I think a lot of people will be able to enjoy. Next up, we have Azure Dreams. Nobody knew that there was a Game Boy Color version of the game. I actually have the PlayStation copy, and when I found out the Game Boy Color had a copy, I was just shocked. So I'm actually playing this on my Retron 5. And for some reason, it's acting like it's playing it on a Super Game Boy, so that's why the screen is like a screen. But if you want to know about this game, it plays like a Pokemon type game. You know, you have these battles, you capture monsters. From what I remember, I can't remember everything, but it has a decent story. It's like what you would call maybe like another type Pokemon type game, if you like that type of stuff. Most of you guys know I probably don't really care about it, but I decided to give the game a try because I thought that this would be a hidden gem for you guys, something interesting, something different. You know, maybe one day I will play all the way through both versions, but from what I played of this one, I actually liked it and I thought it was kind of cool. It is very story based, so you know, you talk to characters and you exchange items, all kind of different stuff. The battle system, as you can see right here, looks almost like exactly like Pokemon, but a solid game nonetheless. Like I said, if you have a choice between the versions that you can find of this game, of course you're gonna get the PlayStation version. But if you see the Game Boy Color version out there, pick it up and try it. You know, it looks like a solid game. I really like the Game Boy Color system. I really feel that a lot of games on this system really kind of pushed it to its limits, and I'll go on a little bit about that later in the video. But also, guys, let me know what you think about this game in the comments, if you knew about this game or if you played it before, and how you compare it to the PlayStation version. I know that's a funny thing to ask, but, you know, heck, some people might think this version is better, you know. You guys already know what I'm going to say. I think the PlayStation version is better. But this one holds its own, too, I think, you know. I think also I would definitely get into this type of game, or this version of the Pokemon-type games than the regular Pokemon games, just because everybody's already on that hype train. But anyways, guys, check out Azure Dreams. You might like it. Mr. Driller for the Game Boy Color. You guys have probably heard me talk about the Mr. Driller series in other videos. I'm a big fan of Mr. Driller Part 2 for the Game Boy Advance. So I went ahead and bought this game just because I wanted to see how it started off. And this is a solid game, you know. It has a story mode just like the other games. Basically, it's just a basic story mode. But I won't go into any details because nobody really cares about that. But how you play the game is that you keep digging, and you keep digging until you get the bottom. But you have to make sure that you don't get squashed, and also you have to watch your air supply. If you run out of air, you know, that's it for you. You know, you have to get the little air capsules to keep yourself going. And you also want to try to avoid the Xbox, the X boxes, because if you drill through those, it takes your air supply. So if you drill too many of those, you're out of there too. So just be careful of that. And also, you know, I like the game has a high score system, so you always put your name in there and save it. If you see Mr. Driller out there, check it out. It's a solid game. A solid series. Kind of, I would say it's a spinoff of the Dig Dug games, but not really too sure about that. Anyways, guys, check it out. So, funny story. Alone in the Dark was one of the first survival horror games I played when I moved to Korea back in 2001. I played the PlayStation version, loved it, awesome game. Years later, I'm playing the Game Boy Color version, and to be honest with you guys, this game is one of those games that pushes the Game Boy Color to its limits. They did a great job on this game. This is survival horror on the Game Boy Color. And it's solid, and it kind of it plays things differently from the original game. So the original game of Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare, you take a plane ride to find out a mystery of what happened to one of your friends that was killed, and the plane gets into an accident and crashes. In this version, the plane actually lands safely, so that was already a shocker for me. But the way the game plays, it plays like survival horror, and then when you run into enemies, it goes into a battle mode, so it actually changes things up, and you'll know, because your character he'll start talking, and you'll have to get ready for battle. You can switch between different weapons during battle, heal yourself, all kind of cool stuff, and it's not too hard actually. Like most survival horror games, a lot of people think they're hard, but no, this is not hard. This is easy to pick up and play. It's actually pretty scary because the sound effects are trippy. Like you hear screams and all kind of weird things. So you can see people like walking past windows, and it goes into details of all that stuff. So I'm very impressed with this game. It also makes me think about how Resident Evil would have looked if it was 100% finished on the Game Boy Color. Even though we got the 99% build of it, I believe, or 90% version of it, I think it would have been a solid game just like this one. So guys, if you're a fan of the Alone in the Dark series and you kind of like saw this one and like laughed at it because you thought like, how is that going to play on the Game Boy Color? Give it a try. I mean, seriously, this is a solid game. It's scary. Play with headphones in and you'll see what I'm talking about. Wendy, every which way. Okay, so here's the funny thing. Now, as you can see in the beginning right there, this game is also compatible with the Game Boy Advance system. It actually gives you extra levels, which I couldn't access because I was actually playing this on the Retron 5. So at the time of this video, I haven't tried the levels out on the Game Boy Advance. If anybody else has played them, let me know how they compare. All right, so from what you could tell with the story, Wendy let some kind of ancient spirits loose or something, some kind of orbs loose, and it actually makes a castle in the sky lose its essence and it falls to the ground. So now she has to go in and rescue and kind of fix everything. I don't think she has to rescue anybody, but the whole gimmick in this game is the gravity. You could change gravity of all the enemies on the screen. Now, when I first saw that, I thought that was a cool gimmick. I mean, seriously, just the way you platform around, you have to change gravity just to kind of do things, and that's pretty unique in a game. There's not many games I know that do things like that. But the whole premise in this game is that you have to get the orbs back and fix everything, of course. The game has some excellent platforming, lots of tricks and everything. And also, when you finish sections of the level, usually the levels are, each section has 3 levels, I believe. I think it was 3 or 4. And after that, when you go to another part of the castle, you get on your broom and ride there like a shoot 'em up. So that's how the game kind of switches things up. When there's too much platforming, it changes things up. That's one thing I like about the Way Forward company. They always have fresh ideas. So if you definitely see this game out there, pick it up, especially if you like platform type games. Wendy Every Which Way is a solid game by our favorite people, Way Forward, and not a lot of people know about this game, which was unfortunate at the time. I mean, I guess nobody really cared about it, like platform games back, I would say in the early 2000s weren't really that popular, at least in my opinion. Things also get tricky during the later levels too, so need to be careful. Of course, what they do is throw a bunch of spikes in at you, so it makes you really think about what you're going to do next. Also, you can change gravity in the mid-air too, so you don't have to always just do it from the bottom into the ceiling. You can also do it midway just to protect yourself. That's a good idea to kind of get used to it as well, because you will be crashing into spikes if you're not careful. So if you see this game out in the wild, pick it up. You won't regret it. Bionic Commando Elite Forces. So this is kind of a throwback. I got this game recently at my local game store, Super Smash Games, and it reminded me of my 9th birthday. My mom got me Bionic Commando for Nintendo, and I never heard of that game. and I was upset about it because the game was kind of weird to play. That ended up being one of the best Nintendo games I ever owned. Once you get that game down, it is freaking awesome. And I can say the same thing about this game as well. So Bionic Commando Elite Forces is very story driven. It pretty much goes off the premise of the original game as well for Nintendo. You have the grappling hook, you have a gun. It plays pretty much the same. You try to find out information on what's going on in the level. But this game did something that I did not expect, and it actually, I would say, it changed things up. Now, before I go into that, you can switch between two characters, which is a female commando and a male commando. I just choose the female because I thought that was cool to have a main hero as a female, so I picked her. I don't think there's any difference between the two, but they do interact during the levels. But see, the thing about this one is, there are sniper levels. There's sniper missions during the level, so all of a sudden you have to take out snipers on another tower, and it's freaking awesome the way it plays out, and it's kind of brutal too. I mean, when you shoot these guys, you can see the blood splatter and everything. It's pretty like crazy, but just a really solid game, and man, I just don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I'm just in the beginning stages of playing it, but I can just tell this is one of the ones out there that's like a must-own for the system. What's this? Another way forward game, Xtreme Sports. So I just found out about this game recently, and this game is a blast, seriously. So it has this little story mode about two kids who enter a contest. Well, they have to enter a tournament pretty much. And it's sponsored by some kind of soda called X-Cola, which even the kids in the game say is pretty gross. But nonetheless, they enter the tournament. Basically, you can walk around and apply to different events, and you sign up to the tournament. From what I played so far, there are 5 games you could play. There's a surfing level, which was a lot of fun. Thank God it wasn't like TNC Surf, because that surfing in that game was horrible. But it's a lot of fun, and basically you're trying to beat times of other previous champions in all the sports you try. This game right here, this part right here, I forgot what this level was called, but it's basically you're kind of like rolling down the street, or just like, it's kind of weird. This level was weird, but you're kind of hopping over obstacles, and that's how you gain points. The skating level was a lot of fun. You get to grind on the rails, and you're trying to capture the flags as well without falling and trying to get your best score. But this is the funny thing about this game. You're going to see why this game is called Xtreme Sports, at least in my opinion. So there's the skateboard level, which I'm not very good at. I was kind of sucking at it. I was trying to get the controls down, and I couldn't do it properly. So this is one I still have to try to qualify for. But still, I think it's fun. It'll be fun once I get it down. But here's where Xtreme Sports happens. This reminds me of the scene, if I think it was Triple X with Van Diesel. And maybe what came out first, this game or the movie? I'm not really sure. Or maybe the movie got the idea from this game. Who knows? Either way, it's freaking cool. And this is my favorite out of the sports events that are currently available so far. I don't know if there are any more, but basically you have to try to do stunts and grind points before you hit the ground. And it's pretty easy. You just do it in a couple motions, and you let go of the B button. So you get the signs, and you're able to kind of like do all the motions, and then you let go of the button, and then next thing you know, you're doing a stunt. You want to do as many as possible before you hit the ground so you can qualify. So that is Xtreme Sports for you guys. A very solid game, a lot of fun. You can tell WayForward had a good time creating this game. If you see it out there, pick it up. All right, guys, so that was the Gameboy Color Hidden Gems video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I don't know why it's taking me so long to do it. It was just kind of tough picking these games out. But hopefully you guys find something in here that you hadn't seen before. Let me know if there's any games you guys could recommend in the future. You know, I'm always looking for Game Boy games in box, or even carts only if I can find them, if that's all that's available. Anyways, guys, take care, and I'll see you next time. Hey, guys, before we go, though, I want to talk about the Game Boy Paradise group. Basically, this is a Game Boy group where we talk about our passions and love for the Game Boy system. We do trades, we have general discussions, we do live videos, and just do all kind of cool stuff talking about our favorite portable system. I'll leave a link in the description below. Hope you guys join. See you later.